Where Big Law meets Big Business, welcome to the Big Law Business Report. I'm your host, Brian Brown. Joining us in the studio again today is Mr. Darrell Mottley, intellectual property attorney. Darrell, thanks for joining me again.
Glad to be here.
So, Darrell, today's topic is the Internet of Things. There's a lot of conversation around the Internet of Things.
Right.
What are the Internet of Things?
Glad you asked, Ryan. Internet of Things is kind of a concept of the internet with multiple kind of devices connected to it that sort of work to censor and monitor different aspects of your life or business.
Right. So when you talk about connected to the internet, are you talking about the wearable devices where people are able to monitor, I guess, their heart rate or how much their steps they take during the course of the day?
Absolutely. It could be those devices and transmit data back and forth through the internet, through some cloud storage computer somewhere in some other country, maybe, wherever it may be, who knows?
Yeah, who knows, you're right about that.
But that's generally the thought is that there's billions and billions of devices, sort of the old Carl Sagan, billions and billions of stars, devices out there that are connected to the internet that can be controlled by their own little processors operating and talking back to each other.
Got you. So as an example of the Internet of Things, like automobiles where you can obviously you have your Bluetooth capabilities. So your car connects to your phone for one to be able to make phone calls or stream music.
Yes, and that's the more familiar aspects to maybe the consumers that use it. But also, if you look at the car aspect, the engines have all these sensors that operate. The engine is more like a computer nowadays, right?
Sure.
How many times you see the little chip they have to put inside to make it work, right?
Right.
So
at an unbelievable cost.
Right. Well, and they monitor all that, and then there's software involved in that aspect, and intellectual property patents will deal with that, or maybe copyright with the software will deal with that, and that data gets collected and moves up into the cloud or storage. Some people have seen computer apps or software apps on their mobile phone, and they can see their tire pressure, their last oil change, or oil life, or that's sort of what they can see. But internally, there's a lot of different sensors and different things. When you go to the mechanic, or now I guess you're a computer software guy.
Sure. Now, so I'll put myself in the position of a manufacturer. I have a wearable device, right? So I've got these orthotics that one can put in their shoes, and it's going to connect to my smartphone. So in this particular instance, we're talking about obviously being an intellectual property attorney. Where do I bring Darrell Mottley into the conversation about this wearable device? How do I protect that intellectual property in so much that, okay, I might be the manufacturer of the device, but obviously there's the company that makes the smartphone. There's a company that makes the software that talks to my device with a smartphone that stores everything in the cloud or some other remote location.
Right.
Where does Darrell Mottley fit in? How does Darrell Mottley help me, that manufacturer?
Well, let's say you're the manufacturer of the insoles, the wearable device and the insoles. There's actually companies that do navigation with wearables things, so it's very much things. So if you're that company, I'd come in, or somebody like myself come in to address the patent protection, if you will, to get that intellectual property, to how that to kind of wrap and develop technology on the patent side for that particular product.
Gotcha.
And then and that's the protection side. Maybe before they operate, before they start to think about, there may be somebody else doing that as well.
Right. I think we've had this
conversation before. Right? You got to make sure that there's not anybody else doing that.
Non-performing entity involved, right?
Potentially.
So Darrell, let's do this. Hold that thought, because we want to expand on that a little bit. We need to go to a break. We'll be right back on the Big Law Business Report.